સંધાન ઓલ ગુજરાત ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ ક્લાસરૂમ
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Hello everybody, I am Dr. Rajni Sutar and today we are going to discuss the topic barriers to communication. Before we begin the topic, I would like to briefly talk about what is communication. In the communication process, you have the sender and the receiver. The sender sends the message to the receiver via a medium or a channel. While sending that message, n number of factors come into play. These factors determine the success of communication. The sender encodes the message and sends it to the receiver with the help of the medium. During this time, lot many things can happen. If there is any hurdle or barrier in the communication process, then the communication becomes ineffective. This factor plays an important role in determining whether communication can have an impact or not. Therefore, by studying barriers to communication, we can in a way understand how the process works. At the same time, try to take steps and measures to eliminate these barriers. So let us begin our discussion by first defining what are barriers to communication. As you can see in the picture itself, when two people communicate or when many people communicate, a number of elements come into play, and when you have a barrier in front of these two people, then it can cause some confusion or even miscommunication. So what are barriers? Barriers to communication are essentially hurdles or obstacles in the path of effective communication. They are sort of speed breakers of the communication process. When you communicate in the real scenario, n number of factors come into play. There could be many things happening besides communication, and these events around you can have an impact on the success of your communication. So let us see how are these barriers effective, or how they cause a hindrance in the communication. Effective communication is not possible at all times. These factors will hamper the path of communication, and therefore they are called barriers. And what are the causes for barriers to communication? What are these hurdles? What speed breakers come in the way of effective communication? This is our endeavor for the lecture this time. So let us see the different types of barriers. Before we begin, even in the best scenario, there are chances that something might happen, something might go wrong, which can lead to barrier or hurdle. And in the real scenario, even if you take much effort, at times effective communication is not possible because of these barriers. Which are these different barriers? Now we can have a look at this sort of a chart here, that which are the barriers. We have the physical barriers, the semantic and linguistic barriers, personal barriers, organizational barriers, and cross-cultural barriers. These barriers are of different kinds and come into play at different occasions in order to hinder the path of communication. We will be studying each of the barriers one by one. Let us begin our study with the physical barriers. Okay, physical barriers are basically external elements which prevent the message composed by the sender from being passed to the receiver in totality. Please keep in mind, the important aspect of physical barriers is that they are external. Means something that happens outside the individuals. Something that is outside that person. It is not internalized. It is external. And these elements which are outside, that individual and which cause a hindrance in communication are called physical barriers. They are obstacles in the path of communication. Let us see which are these physical barriers. They are external causes occurring outside the mind of the sender and the receiver at the time of transmission of message. Okay, now we move to our discussion of noise. Lots of us have heard this word noise, but we don't know the cause of interference in communication. Noise just does not mean sound. In communication, noise can be defined as a term which causes disturbance in communication, which causes problems in sending of the message. It could be the noise that we talk in the general term. At the same time, it could include number of elements other than that which we discuss in common life. Let us see. Now, it also means miscommunication caused by traffic work, factory, people talking in background, loudspeakers blaring at the time of communication, poor telephone lines, or illegible handwriting. Now, while communicating, any disturbance caused by the physical elements is called noise. For example, if you are talking to someone on the cell phone, if you are discussing something with someone and your lights go out, or your mic stops to function, or suddenly there's a technical glitch and you lose network, all these elements fall under the category of noise. So let us just have a look at the pictures here. While you're talking to someone on the phone, and if the bus passes by, then you might not be able to listen to the message clearly, and this can be categorized as a physical barrier or noise. Or if you are supposing chatting to someone on the phone and the airplane passes by, or there is a band that moves outside, talks while you're talking, then that also could prove to be a physical barrier in your communication. Before we discuss the next element of time and distance, I would also like to point out that this barrier, physical barrier, could also mean that if you have a mic which does not work during the time of communication, or if you are making a magnificent PowerPoint presentation, you have made it and you are about to present and the lights go out, then that could also prove to be a physical barrier in communication. Many elements come into play, and noise can be eliminated by keeping few things in mind, which we'll be discussing in the later part of the lecture during measures to overcome the physical barriers. Now moving to the next point, that is time and distance. Each message communicated carries weightage with reference to time. Take for example, you receive an invitation card for a birthday. After the birthday is over, after the date has gone, would it make any value? Would it be of any value to you? No, because the time has passed and therefore it holds no value. So each message that is passed to you or to anyone carries weightage, carries importance with reference to time. And if you don't adhere to the time, then probably your message would not be as effective. Now, this sense of time also is a very abstract concept, in the sense that for someone, getting up at 7:30 could be quite early because he is used to getting up at 10. And whereas for the other individual, getting up at 7:30 could be quite late because he is used to getting up at around 5:30 in the morning. So if you have this sense in mind, sense of time, then many things can be eliminated. So be sensitive to time if you wish to eliminate the physical barriers. Take for example, you have this concept of distance. Now, distance is a barrier in communication, just as we have noise and time. But distance in our age, in the technological age, in the techno-savvy age, has not been or does not remain that important a barrier, or that barrier which causes a lot of trouble to us, in the sense that in our age we can eliminate the barrier of distance because we have technology at our side. We have the different sort of gadgets, smartphones which support Skype, which support different messages or text messages. We are connected with the whole world 24/7. So you might be having a friend who lives abroad, but you can, at the click of a button, you can communicate with that person, you can contact that person. So distance nowadays has been eliminated, but still distance does play an important role, in the sense that you can keep in mind, if you have a gathering, or if you have say an event of 100 people, and you make a wrong seating arrangement, and you don't make provision for mics, and if 100 people are there, you have to keep that distance, would play a role. Those sitting at the end might not be able to hear the message properly. So in order to make your communication effective, you have to keep in mind that distance should be considered. And if you're making a seating arrangement, or if you're conducting an event, you have to see to it that you have proper mics, you have proper arrangement for distance. And if you don't keep these elements in mind, then your communication, however good content you might have, would not prove to be effective. Okay. This element of defects in medium is also one important physical barrier. While talking to anyone, whether it is on the phone or whether it is in a gathering, our gadgets play a vital role in the dissemination of the message, in passing the message from the sender to the receiver. These gadgets determine the success of our communication. So if you want your communication to be effective, then these gadgets also have to work appropriately. So if these gadgets don't work appropriately, then your communication would not be passed effectively, and there would be a breakdown of communication. All of a sudden, if you lose network in your cell phone while passing an important message, while talking about something important, then that could be considered as a defect in the medium of communication. If your microphone does not work while you're making an announcement, then that could be a physical barrier in your communication that could cause problems in your communication process. So your devices, gadgets need to be kept in mind, and which gadget is appropriate for which message is also important. You have to be selective in passing your message to others. Take for example, if you're sharing a number with your acquaintance, sharing some cell phone number of your friend, or you're passing that number to your acquaintance, then you should keep that in mind, that if you utter all the numbers on the phone, okay, that would cause a lot of problem for the other person to understand and to write down the numbers. So at that time, it's better that you message the telephone number rather than say that on the phone. So selection of proper gadgets, proper modes, as far as technology is concerned, can also determine the success of communication. When to text messages, when to speak, and when to use other modes of communication such as video calling, or even say lot many social networking sites that we have. For which message, which tool is suitable has to be evaluated and checked appropriately, rather than simply going by any gadget which you fancy or which you seem to like. So check the message and compare it with how suitable it is for communication, and then send the message via that gadget. Otherwise, there could be a physical barrier while you're communicating. Another aspect here which we can keep in mind, that at times if the gadget does not work properly, then the message is not passed in totality. The message can remain incomplete or impartial, and therefore it might lose its effectivity. It could also lead to misunderstanding and confusion. So if you communicate, see to it that you select the right gadget, and also try to determine whether the message passed has been passed in totality, or that your message that you're passing is not incomplete, so that your message becomes effective. Now we move to the next barrier. We discussed the physical barrier, which involves a number of aspects such as noise, defects in medium, and also selection of the suitable gadgets for communication. We now move to the semantic barriers. Semantic basically refers to the breakdown of communication occurring due to the discrepancy in meaning of the word and the symbol it represents. Now, if you look at language, language is a living organism. It is not something that is dead. It evolves, and